Welcome to Irish TV in Manchester with me, Martin Logan. Coming up on the programme this week, we're at the Talbot Catholic Club. I'll be chatting to T.R. Dallas, Larry Keenan and other members of the committee. Now, John Lowry has got a very successful radio show on Within Show FM, and we're going to go along and catch up and have a little chat with John.
Well, it's a very good morning and welcome down here to Within Show FM 97.2 on your FM dial. Also,
wife had just opened a bottle of wine. I sank in the sofa and breathed a sigh. She leapt down beside me, looked me in the eye. She grabbed the remote and said, "Let's have some fun."
John, can you tell me how you first got involved in broadcasting?
yeah, back in the day in Ireland I was doing a bit of club work, and there was a lot of stations going around, but obviously I couldn't get my foot in the door. RT, it's very hard to get in there if you can't speak Gaelic. The will to chuck the Morlock, I don't even know what that means. I came over to Manchester in 1972 and lived in Wythenshawe for about 9 years, and then I moved down to like Stretford. Got involved with hospital radio in Wythenshawe and also at Whittington, and then also got involved with hospital radio down in Old Trafford at Park Hospital, better known as Trafford General. Then I heard of this radio station starting up called Manchester Irish Radio. So I made inquiries, and of course it was our good friend from Trafford that was working around doing the voiceovers for the people at United's ground, called Alan Keegan, and he was setting up a station on a 28A special event licence called Manchester Irish Radio. So I got involved with that, helped out with the phone calls as you do, making the tea, you know, and I didn't mind as long as I was getting me bit in the door basically. And then he gave me a show. Then unfortunately after 28 days that finished, which was a pity really, because we needed Irish radio in Manchester and it would have been good to have a 24-hour station. I moved on from that then to, of course, Within Show FM, which I'm involved with since 2000. It's a community of interest radio station, and I do the Irish Connection every Saturday morning between 10 o'clock and 12, and it keeps the buzz going, and we keep covering on what's on in pubs and clubs. And also I'm involved with the Irish Festival in Manchester, and we keep people involved with what's going on around that. And basically radio's in my blood, and it would be great to get Wogan's job, but unfortunately that's gone.
Getting back to Alan Keegan, of course that was the first Irish radio show. It was the big breakthrough, wasn't it, that time?
It was, and we were all looking forward. There was 40 volunteers, buzzing about Manchester. There was a great buzz going on. Everybody was phoning up from all over the place, telling us they had 3 radios going in every room in the house, and they just couldn't believe what was going on. People were sponsoring us, the big boys like the tarmac companies, etc., were sponsoring us because they wanted to get in on the very first Irish radio station in Manchester. And as I say, it's a pity that the radio authorities in London at that time weren't giving out full-time radio licenses, otherwise we probably would have had 24/7 Irish radio going back to back every day. But as I say, we're not limited to what we can go on at this moment in time. But of course then again you've got irishtv.ie and all the other networks that are coming in, giving exposure to the Irish people, the music, and it's keeping the buzz going and keeping the dream alive.
It is indeed. Now, you're a great Dublin man. Tell me about your times in Dublin before you decided to come to Manchester.
Well, I just went to the old national school, didn't get into learning Gaelic, didn't like it. Came from a place called Portmarnock, just outside Dublin's town, about 8 miles out from Dublin centre. A lovely 4-mile Golden Beach, which I went down there every day. Then I'd done a few jobs, a bit in the cutting trade, as a cutter in the rag trade. I finally finished up doing working as a groundsperson on Portmarnock Golf Course, and of course when we finished our job in the evening, the members would kindly give us their golf clubs to go around and have a great game of golf, and you could get a fantastic tan as well, being very near the sea. I was always interested in doing radio to one degree or another, but as I say, it was very hard to actually penetrate the likes of RTE. So I did get involved with a few little small stations, but nothing like on the scale that I've been involved with over here, because I say Within Show FM, done a little bit on All FM in the early days before I took on Within Show. And of course my good lady wouldn't have me doing Saturday and Sunday, and I say so I had to pass that over to other people, at All FM, and I just carried on doing Saturday morning here in Wythenshawe. But I have done other RSLs, restricted service licenses, in Bolton and Bury and other places like that. But this is my set place here in Wythenshawe. But as I say, it was good coming over to Manchester in 2000. I started with Wythenshawe, and I came over in 1972. So I still got the old accent to a degree.
And of course you're heavily involved now with the Manchester Irish Festival. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a voluntary organisation similar to the radio here, and of course there's lots of people that actually get involved throughout the year planning various things, whether it's the parade or the market, etc. And that, in general, as you probably know, is a great buzz for the Manchester community and outskirts of Manchester, and people actually coming over from Ireland for the taste of home, as we probably call it. And everybody just has a great buzz, and I say I'm involved with lots of people in the town hall. We just all meet. There's Anne Bowen, of course there's Councillor Pat Carney, he's involved with it as well, and John Flanagan. So we're all in as a big bunch, and we just do the best that we can to keep everything going for the Irish Festival. And it probably runs about maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and everybody's kind of waiting for the buzz every year, and long may it continue.
Absolutely. Now, John, listen, I think your listeners need you. They're waiting on you. So get back to your music, get back to your listeners, and thank you very much for having us here at Wythenshawe FM. Now, the Manchester Irish Festival is always a very exciting time here in the city, and we went along to the launch night at the Manchester Town Hall. We caught up with John Lowry, who presents his own radio show on Wythenshawe FM.
Of course, it's always been a great thing to be involved with in the festival every year, and it's getting bigger and better every year. We're looking forward to the parade, of course, on Sunday, and of course there's not just me, there's John Flanagan and lots of other people involved in the background, but it has been lots of hard work getting around and getting all the festival brochures out to everybody and letting them know exactly where to be on the likes of tonight in the Irish Festival. And I think everybody is quite happy, and the weather's staying fine as well, so hopefully the weather will stay fine for Sunday.
Of course, you mentioned the brochures there, and they're very popular this year. I don't know how many you got printed, but honestly all Manchester wants to see them, and I have to say they're a really good brochure.
There's average about, we usually get about 40,000 printed. I'm not too sure if it might have been an extra 10,000 this year, but obviously people are asking for not just one or two when they walk into various shops. They ask for 2 or 3, but obviously they want to send some to their friends and obviously get a bigger crowd coming into the Manchester City on the likes of the parade, but also getting everybody down to buy the Taste of Home, which is on the market, and we're very grateful to all the people that come over from Ireland to do the markets every year.
Yeah, of course, people like yourself that work on the committee voluntarily, of course. You must take a lot of credit now for the way the festival has been run over the last 20 or 25 years, in fact.
Well, I'm probably with the team now for the last maybe 7 or 8 years, maybe roughly. But I've always been a supporter of the festival, basically, in one way or another, either on the radio, etc., etc. But yeah, it's a great turnout, and it's great to be involved because we all come together. And basically, as you heard before from the different announcements, that I think we're the second biggest outside Ireland and possibly in Europe.
Of course, John, you present a very popular radio show every Saturday morning on Wythenshawe FM. How is that going for you?
The Irish Connection every Saturday morning, yes, between 10 o'clock and 12, as per usual, keeping everybody in Manchester on their toes, because I do play a bit of traditional music as well as the up-and-coming groups that like to get their basically feet on the mat or on the carpet, basically. But yeah, it's great to be there from 10 till 12 every Saturday morning with, of course, our award-winning station, which is Wythenshawe FM, and we're very grateful to Her Majesty for recognising us after 20 years' work, and very hard work indeed. And also, I'm also involved now in the last year with Salford City Radio, which is another community of interest radio station, unlike All FM, and there's quite a few around Manchester. But it is great to be giving something back to everybody out there in Radio Land.
Well done, John, you do a great job.
Thank you very much for that. Bye-bye.
Later on in the programme, we'll be visiting Salford City Radio, and we'll be chatting to Councillor Jim King and presenter John Lowry. Next up, we're off to Salford City Radio, and I'm having a chat with Councillor Jim King.
Salford City Radio got a licence 10 years ago, but we were actually been broadcasting for 8 years because Ofcom, which is the regulatory body, gives you 2 years to get off the ground, so to speak. My involvement is I became the chair of the organisation who established it, and since then I've been the chair of the board because we had to set up a company, and I'm now the chair of the board. And we meet roughly monthly in this building, and we've been running the organisation live 24 hours a day for the past 8 years.
Great stuff. Now give me a little idea of the type of programmes that you broadcast from here and the communities that you cover.
Well, we like to think that we are an all-purpose radio station. We cover all sorts of news events, for example, both locally and nationally. We have a number of community organisations who come and cover their particular community, their interest group and so on. We of course have a famous Irish programme, as you probably know, run by our friend John Lowry. We have a Jewish programme. We have a fairly large Jewish community in the city of Salford, and we have a live Jewish programme that goes out weekly as well, live. And then we have a wide raft of various organisations who do their own programme, and we have very, very active sports programme on Saturdays and Sundays as well.
Sounds as though it runs very, very smoothly. Obviously you've been involved right from day one, and you must take great pride in it now, how much it's developed down the years.
Well, we were very proud of it, and if you look sort of just towards the back of me here, you'll find that we have won half a dozen or so prizes and recommendations and so on. So we're very, very proud of that, and we always reach the Ofcom's regulatory conditions, which are fairly strict actually. Like I said, we have to broadcast live for so many hours, and we need to make sure that we're not having many complaints, for example, and a whole host of other regulatory conditions that we meet.
And about yourself, Jim, you're a County Galway man. How long have you been in Salford?
Oh, a very long time now, over 30 years here now. I first decided to, I did my leaving cert in Clifton, and then I thought I'd see what the UK was like with an intention of going on to Australia. That never happened, of course, so I'm still here. But I'm a city councillor here as well, and in fact we rent this space from the city council.
How long have you been a councillor in Salford?
Well, I've been a councillor in Salford for over a quarter of a century now, and I'm up for election next year, as it turns out. We have a relatively active community, and there's quite a few Irish people. In fact, they were involved in building the famous canal, which of course the famous Manchester Canal, Ship Canal, which is headquartered in Salford. In Salford, the old port, Manchester Port, is actually based in Salford, and quite a lot of Irish people worked on that, and it's now of course the base, as you know, for the BBC in the Northwest and the famous Lowry as well.
We wish you the very best of luck with Salford City Radio, and of course the election next year, and we'll catch up with you soon again.
Thank you very much, Martin. You're always welcome to come back.
During our visit to Salford City Radio, we caught up with presenter John Lowry.
Well, Salford City Radio, I was approached by Mr. Jim King from Salford City Radio about 18 months ago. Would I be possible to do an Irish show similar to on Wythenshawe FM? So I said, yeah, I'll try and juggle things about as per usual, and I've always been good at juggling, as you know, without dropping a ball, nothing to do with football whatsoever. And yeah, I came up and done the show. It used to be on every Tuesday night between 7 and 8, but then the sports team had to come in. So the new schedule now is from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock every Tuesday night, with an hour of great music, ghost stories, and general whatever's going on within the area. And the people phone in and let us know, or send me an email. We give it out on air, similar to Wythenshawe FM.
OK, of course you've got a large following at Wythenshawe FM, and you've built that up over the years, but what's your following like here in Salford? There's obviously a big Irish community in this area.
There is quite a big community in the area itself, and they do get on with emails and telephone calls to let us know exactly what's going on in the area. And we publicise charities as well, because obviously there's lots of charities that need to be publicised on the radio show from week to week, like for the talking newspaper for the blind, and the Samaritans, to name but a few. So we give out as much information as possible to help everybody, as we are a community of interest radio station similar to the one at Wythenshawe on WFM.
Give us a little idea of the type of music you play.
Well, it's similar to the Irish Connection. As I say, it's under the same banner as Wythenshawe FM. So we play up-and-coming artists to get them a foot on the ladder, publicise any groups that are appearing in the Northwest or due to come to the Northwest,
whether it's solo artists or groups, etc., or any kind of stuff that needs to be out there in the domain for the Irish people to go to venues to see either artists playing music, or if it's a play or a dancing competition or whatever the case may be. So as long as the music is there, we'll do it, and as long as the information comes in, we'll give it out.
I thought you'd be looking a lot happier today after Dublin winning the All-Ireland.
Well, I'm not really that much into football. I'd rather play a bit of snooker and golf, but obviously it is good, because I've heard over the last couple of weeks there's not much money left down the country now. It's all been brought up to Dublin for all these football matches and hurling and rugby and stuff like that. So I mean, obviously everybody is happy up in Dublin with the pint of Guinness, I suppose.
Good stuff. Thanks, John. We'll catch you soon.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay.
Now, sadly, time has caught up with us again. We really hope you've enjoyed the programme. Don't forget, we'll be back next Tuesday evening, 8:30 p.m. on Sky 191, Freesat 400 on our website, irishtv.ie. If you've got a story to tell us, or if you'd like us to promote your business, contact me, mlogan, at irishtv.ie. From all the team here in Manchester, until next time, you take care. I've got a couple of songs to sing and a few records to play. Bye-bye.